Welcome everybody to another edition of Away Day Sports with your boy Dino. I hope everyone's good. Today is FA Cup final day for the men, involving Crystal Palace and Manchester City. So this is just a quick tell of the tape for this final, which kicks off as of now at 4:30. So I know this ain't gonna be live. I was gonna do it live, but I'm just gonna just blur it out and just do what I gotta do. Basically, I'm just gonna say how the team's got here, and who I think is gonna win. Even though I did put who I thought was gonna win in my predictions yesterday, but I'm just gonna probably go into a bit more because I'm gonna be thinking in my head and my heart. So if that makes sense. So Crystal Palace, they are back in the final again. For the first time since 2016. The last time they got to the final prize that was back in 1990, which was the infamous final with Manchester United, which went to replay with Ian Wright coming off the bench and scoring a goal for them. I think they were 3-1 down that game. They came back and drew 3-3, but then they lost the replay a few days later. Um, so they've been the bridesmaids in the FA Cup, and they've never actually won a major trophy in their history. So I think with how they've been in the last few years, they've really solidified themselves as a bona fide Premiership team, considering what they used to be like a few years ago, back when I was in school, where they were considered a yo-yo club. They used to always be up and down the Championship and the old Division One, and going back into the Premiership and vice versa back in the day. But now they've found their feet. I think in the last 10, 12 years now, they've done very well, and you have to remember this is a team that nearly went out of business as well, out of complete existence, and it would have been that would have been a travesty for me, considering that I live in the area. So no, it's good seeing them in the final again. Their road to the final, their road to this day. Um, I look at both teams and who they had to play up. I think Palace probably had tougher opponents, but Palace started off with a 1-0 win against Stockport, and then they beat Doncaster 2-0. Played Millwall 3 at Selhurst Park and won that by 3 goals to 1. That infamous game with Mateta getting injured, getting kicked in the face. Then they went to Fulham. They beat Fulham 3-0, and then they played Aston Villa in the semi final, beat them 3-0 also. The coach is Oliver Glasner, who I think is probably one of the coaches of the season. Regardless of what happens in this game, I think he's done wonders. He's brought balance to Palace. He's raised them to another level, and I think they've done very very well. And I think everyone can see that. They've got a good thing going on down there. I think in at Selhurst Park. So it's a team that we should be watching out for more so in the next couple of years. The key players today for me will be Eze and Mateta. If them two can look up what's there, I think it's going to cause Man City all sorts of problems. And Man City have not been their best ish this season, but they themselves, as I get to them, have found their feet a bit more in the last few weeks. So with Palace, I think they've got every bit of a chance um, to win their first trophy in their history, and I think it would be quite good to see it today because it'd be history to see something that they've actually won their first trophy, and it'll give optimism to other clubs around the country which haven't won a trophy yet. So fingers crossed. We'll see how it goes. But if we look on the other side of the tape now, we travel up the hill, up north, up to the Greater Manchester area where we got Manchester City. Again, they had their opponents in the FA Cup. Their road was well, let's say was maybe a bit easier, but I mean, Salford, they played Salford, they beat Salford 8-0. They went to Leighton Orient. Leighton Orient gave them a game. Plymouth gave them a game as well as in the following round, but they came back and won that. And then they started finding a bit of form by the time they played Bournemouth and beat Forest 2-0 in the semi final. Pep is the coach. He has come out and said that even if Man City win today, then it won't really salvage much of their season. And I have to agree with that. I think many people agree that considering what they did a couple of years ago, by their own high standards, they've not been there. I think in between the months of October and January has hurt them a lot. And even when you look at where they're playing now, they're still being not all together there. But they've, like I said, just a couple of months ago, they have found their feet a bit. Um, they've won the FA Cup 7 times, which puts them up there as one of the highest winners. They're not the highest winners. The highest winners are Arsenal. Arsenal won it 14 times. Manchester United have won it, I think, 13. I can't think of the top of my head right now, but there you go. But yeah, their key players, I think today will be Haaland and I think KDB. Again, kind of a similar link up with Eze and Mateta if them two can get going. Um, it'll cause Palace all sorts of problems. So I think the key battles for this game will be in the midfield. Whoever's midfield comes out more aggressive and comes out on top. Most people will probably think, most fans will probably think that it's going to be Man City, but I believe that this game is going to be very much open. Both teams will come out, I think, kind of timid. But I think after like 15, 20 minutes, you're going to start seeing them come out a bit more as the game progresses. Um, I haven't really thought too much of bets, but if you're going to do any sort of bets in this game, I would say for Eze and or Kevin De Bruyne to get to be ambitious and have at least 2 shots on goal on target. Um, Another one would probably be Mateta to score at any time. That would be another one. And if you really want to go, with a long shot, I would say Palace to win on penalties in this game as well. That'd be a long shot bet as well. Going to my prediction. That being said, now like I said in my predictions at the end of the week, I did put Man City to win. I did say that Man City would win, but I know it wouldn't be a clear cut butt whooping for them to win this game. That was my heart is wanting Palace to win this game. Purely because, like I said, I live in the area. I see the fans, and it's a big community club. For anyone who doesn't live around this part of South London, who sees around in between Bromley and Croydon and parts of, if you know, Sydenham and them, all them places there, this is a big community club, and they work wonders with the community, and I would love to see them do it. I know a lot of people in the area would like to see them do it as well. I know that I think everyone around London would love to see Palace win this thing, probably with the exception of certain other teams around London and the other team down the coast, Brighton. But I would love to see Palace win this today. But I'm thinking Man City. I don't know. You know, my heart is saying Palace. My head is saying Man City. But I think I'm gonna have to change my mind on the prediction. I truly believe that Palace can win today. So Eagles, let's go, And I'm wearing red. I ain't got no red or blue polo. So I thought, you know what, red, because after all, number one, Arsenal wear red. Two, Palace have got red, and Man City's two biggest rivalries wear red as well. So you guys know where my loyalty is lying today. Um, so yeah, Palace go Eagles. Let's bring it back to South London and bring it to South London. I think it's much deserved. I think South London football deserves something. Um, it's been tough for the South London clubs in the last few years, and all the fans of these teams in the South have suffered, but they've endured and they believe. So Palace, let's believe again. Let's see what you can do. But guys, that's me for Away Day Sports. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're doing good. I hope you have a good week. As time progresses, I'm going to be going on more. So this week is obviously the penultimate games of the Premiership season. Next week, Sunday, is the very last games of the Premier League season, and after that, we're going to be going into the off season. The Champions League and the Europa Leagues are coming up. As well. And then in regards to the NFL's coming up now. Obviously, the schedules have been announced. Free agency is still kind of going on. Most of the rookies have now started to sign their contracts with their respective teams. And now they're all going to be going to OTAs and mandatory training camp, which will be for most teams in July. So yeah, we'll be keeping notes of that, but I'll be keeping you up to date with everything as well and putting everything up on here and on the TikTok page as well. So keep a lookout, check it out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Crystal Palace versus Man City, FA Cup final at Wembley Stadium. Should be a good one. Take care, guys. I'll see you on the next one.